Greetings, I am Lies.
And I am Scandal.
And let's play a game together.
Yes.
Let's see if I can support my friend through this experience, because we have just perhaps made a poor choice for ourselves in the App Store with selecting this game.
Hi, that's never happened. But honestly, also, it's one of those interesting experiences of going, all right, it's a learning experience.
It is.
Doesn't know, and again, it's another experience that if you're not having a good time, if it were not for, the sake of going, well, we said we'd do this, so time to get drunk, let's do it.
More like time to add in more headcanons the more bored we get.
Yeah, pretty much.
The more restless we get, the more fiction enters their canon universe. This is real-time fan fiction, my bros. And
actually, I really like the mentality that a lot of people have going, you don't like something, it's fine, you don't have to engage with it. Or you can just take the things you like and walk away with it and enjoy that particular part of it.
It's true. And if, Mr. being a himbo and Ken being, just like an all-around better person than him and a really brilliant cinnamon roll ex-boyfriend is the narrative we go with, then okay. Also, our Mr. Himbo's dad being, an attempted child lawyer and continuing to have this dream of lawyering and then just failing 900 times, like in My Cousin Vinny, and then just them writing documentaries and Hallmark movies about him. That's okay.
It's fine. Well, I was also going to say, number one, don't let your media define who you are as a person. You will always inevitably find something you're gonna like more, especially as you get older or as your tastes change or whatever else. You have a lot of time to be exposed to things. You don't have to define yourself. If somebody else is having a good time, let them have fun with it.
Yes.
It's fine. Whatever. All right!
There we go.
Yes.
You are the strongest person I've ever met, Rena.
I've met
And I have not met very many people, because I am a high schooler, I will have you know.
And high schoolers apparently never go on vacations with their families. They never do anything. They honestly
volunteer, travel, get involved with their communities or neighborhoods, be part of organizations or causes or acts, or have online friends or
Nope, not at all.
None of those.
Nope, none for you.
So I'm sorry if I got a little chatty with that one sentence that I said at you.
Is that chatty? Honey.
I think.
Honey, do you know what chatty means? We
Mister,
are chatty.
You have never been chatty in your entire life in this game.
Especially compared to your voice actor.
Or
me. Especially me.
We are the only chatty people in this game, my
It's
bro.
okay.
We forgive you.
He's
like, I tried so hard to do. I'm deflecting, so I'm choosing poor word choices.
It's fine.
That's how I feel at this point. That I may have been chatty.
That I had a chatty point in my life where I thought you were the most beautiful, most powerful, strong, and I stand you. Rena, I stand you. Rena.
I simp for your strongness. You are powerful.
Powerful art.
Oh,
your suffering is amazing to me.
It inspires me so much every day that you hurt and you just don't lay down and die.
Rena.
I don't know how you do it. Because in your position, would just lay down and die. Your life sucks so hard.
Rena,
your life is so bad.
Quietly.
Your position is so horrible.
Grabbing like coffee out of nowhere and just... I'm going to sip something, or it's like a tea. And
like a giant-ass mug with a big cozy handle on it to just cuddle in her hand.
And just stare at you.
Hide her entire face behind it while she stares at you.
Going, I basically need a whole tea minute. I can't do this.
To handle your issues at this point. So I basically feel at this point that I was really chatty there. I mean, that you are the strongest person I've ever met.
Strong.
You're super strong. You know what? Mickey said it.
They actually fucking interact! So I was gonna point it out that Rena's like just staring at us like,
whoa.
And then they just go, now just as I'm starting to think this thing is just starting to not react to my words at all. Guys, she has been dead-faced the entire time.
And Mister's been talking slowly. There's been a lot of ellipses here. Mister has been like, this thing. And this additional thing. And a pause.
Normal human interaction!
An addendum on that thing describing it. and a pause.
Oh my god.
And then just when I'm starting to think that Rena's not going to react to my words, and the xylophone guy in the corner has stopped playing again to emphasize the amazing amounts of tension, rather because they also feel like maybe she's not going to react and they need to know if they should change up the music, reaching for other more dramatic instruments slowly, like a chameleon trying to figure out if they should walk. Should I pick up the drum? Should I leave the drum? Do I need a kazoo?
Do I need my tambourine?
This looks like
my fearbury.
I was gonna say this looks like drum music. No, this looks like bass music.
Honestly,
violin goes for the case. Gotta be violin music.
Clearly, they are composers that are set out for TV series. You know, so I learned something fun that apparently, there are separate composers that work on TV series, and they're literally given usually about a week to score and send the music for the episode in like a week.
Right.
And that's what they do constantly for a whole series.
Right.
They keep getting the episode and they have to score it and get it done in like a week. And you imagine the stress and tension where they're like, we're usually like with
those
movies.
Are the people that are like, panic is my muse, and they thrive. We hope, because the thing is to me that sounds and reeks very strongly of basically crunch and almost a level of kind of like entitlement in regards to like entertainment. We couldn't be bothered to be prepared enough, and also the expensive nature of the economy we live in suggests that we can't plan ahead too far because we don't know if it will be profitable to do so. Thereby, everyone works on tight schedules so we can cancel immediately with the least amount of profit loss, if it's required to do so.
Right? That's one of those things too.
We love it.
It's fantastic. Well, stress brings out the most creativity, and I want to be like, okay, you guys, really great example. Look at the pandemic! Have you seen people so I know you don't follow a lot of people who've been super not creative during the pandemic right now. I've watched artists drop off. I myself have dropped off a lot in regards to being an artist. Like, the pandemic has ruined so many people.
Okay, so recently in one of our series, we actually linked to 10-second songs.
Yep.
Which is a gentleman's channel that does covers of music in many different styles, in 10, 12, 15 different styles, whatever it is.
Yep.
And then he'll do, as people vote on it, full covers of those songs. And he recently put out a video on his channel when I was looking up his name again, talking about how the pandemic has affected him and his creativity because he can't leave to go work in a studio. And he shut down his channel for a few months because he couldn't do it under pandemic conditions, just with the stress, with the focus, with everything you need to do, with everything going on. And he's just like, whoa. And then he came out and talked about it, and then he tried to, sort of recenter and redirect a little bit. But there have been a lot of creators that have been affected. There have been several support videos that have come out that I've encountered my friend watching, even on things about you might be ragging on yourself for not getting that book written, for not getting that project finished, for not doing that whatever thing. There's a lot of stress and anxiety going around, and that is not, necessarily the ideal environment for people to do powerful, creative things. That is really something that they feel connected with themselves in.
It's also not even necessarily just the pandemic, which you would imagine would be enough, especially if you live here in the United States or you're dealing with anything to do with the United States in regards to our politics, or the fact that we also have an election coming up and what's happening with our postal service.
The whole social climate's real stressful. Let's just say the whole thing. And it's just getting more stressful.
The encapsulating experience is...
Just when I'm starting to think that the crushing weight of society and the awareness of its experiences will cause Rena never to speak, she starts to cry. I know, it does that to me too.
Mister, thank you for those kind words.
Her voice cracks. I know.
I love it when you suffer, Rena.
I love to suffer if it inspires.
If I could do anything meaningful with my life, I would, but since I can't right now, inspiring you is the only meaning that I can draw. So I will suffer harder if it inspires you more. That way I can at least have a purpose while I try not to die.
Honestly, this is just kind of a thing that I have noticed in regards to trends or various basically individuals who are I am a social influencer. Okay. I have seen people deliberately dig themselves into a hole of going, I have found out that this works in regards to the algorithm, and people have commented on it, even in regards to what they perceive for the YouTube algorithm, where some people go, the algorithm or the experience of people sometimes we are taught that negativity is the thing you want to go for. And so the algorithm goes, oh, we will promote basically more negative materials. Like you see where people actually talk about it on their channels. They're like, I did all these really positive things before, and then I did one big, huge negative review, and everybody showed up. And then suddenly my entire channel, I shifted because I realized desperately that I needed that money and that lifestyle to survive. So I became a negative reviewer because it fed whatever everyone was looking for. Like I've watched people
because it put food on my table and it brought an audience.
And for some people the reason also I bring up social influencers is because I've seen some people from earlier on, and then I come back to them several years later and I'm like, whoa, you have become an interesting experience, basically based off of a social shifting algorithm of specific traits, characteristics, and it's always interesting to me, and I'm not going to say this is explicitly what always happens, but it seems like a lot of what I hear language-wise is a lot of it tends to get really like aggressive or catty sounding.
Whether or not it gets negative, the thing is that when you live in a capitalistic or, very for-profit and divided against each other competitive society, there is an experience where you may want to create what you wish to create, but if it doesn't pay the bills, ultimately you often will be strong-armed into a direction that does pay the bills. There's actually even an older story before YouTube about, I think the band was called The Carpenters, but there's a song called Love Fool, and it's that love me, say that you love me, fool me, go on and fool me. And that song was their greatest hit. Now it sounds almost nothing like their other work. And for people who are fans of the Carpenters, they're like, holy crap, this is kind of like an indie sort of punk band that did this one sort of poppy, dramatic love ballad kind of thing, but it's an unrequited love ballad. And it went crazy off the charts. They're one-hit wonder. And the thing is everyone was so excited about them, but they came for, that music, a whole new group of people, and then went, oh, you don't make that kind of music, and left. And the band found that they couldn't sustain themselves on the type of songs they wanted to make. They weren't super popular before that, but as they got further into their lives, as they started having kids, becoming, more developed adults, that their band just wasn't going to be able to pay the kind of bills they were going to have. So they tried really hard to reduplicate, eventually, the success with Loveful. Now, they never did manage to, and they ended up breaking up, but instead of making music they were passionate and crazy about, they started trying to go back to reduplicate that, not because they wanted to, but because of the money.
Right.
And in the case of the Proclaimers, which is actually a more successful story, they did the song 1,000 Miles. And I would walk 500 miles. 500 miles, and I would walk 500 more. And I would walk 1,000 miles. Or 1,000, whatever, to follow her down at your door.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that song is done by a set of brothers, and they call themselves the Proclaimers. And the thing is they wrote what they wanted to write, and that song went crazy popular. And then they continued, because of good financial management and good education and support, to write what they wanted to write because of that song. The rest of their stuff was similar enough that they were able to get fans from it and get support because people would enjoy their concerts even without anything else ever becoming a big hit. And then eventually they did have another big hit in reference to the movie Shrek, and I can't... It's the walking song again,
I don't
but
remember.
it got really famous. And it was the one where Shrek and Donkey were traveling together on the way to see Fiona. And the Proclaimers themselves have talked about how that one song, 500, what I would walk, the walking song.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, their one-hit wonder song is what funded them being able to stay in a band and make whatever they wanted. They just have to sing it 5,000 times, which they did, and they were willing to do. But it was one of those things of they still couldn't have huge massive success doing what they wanted to do. They got along doing what they wanted to do because one thing got famous.
And the thing, so this is deviated a little bit from my point. My point was really also going that I have seen people literally dig themselves further and further into a pit because they're trying to satisfy some sort of algorithm.
Because they're trying to make money.
Because what they're trying to do is trying to make money and they're trying to survive.
Mm-hmm.
But they also then, in some cases, you're literally performing basically abusive behaviors of yourself over and over and over again to satisfy.
To try and do what the people want or what the algorithm supports to pitch to the people to create an experience of what they want.
And this level of one-upmanship also on yourself has sometimes resulted in some really horrible shit.
I agree, but I don't watch it because that makes me hurt.
Yeah, really, I am.
I've never heard someone tell me that I inspire them.
Well, both of the nurses that work here think you're as inspiring as fuck, so it's really wild that they haven't said anything to you. I mean, did I say that out loud? Shit, I need to go talk to Louisa and Miki right now and tell them they've been assholes for not telling Rena how goddamn inspiring she is. Shit, man.
You say it. Actually, that is a thing that I have interestingly heard as a phenomenon where people have talked about it going, I never knew that people talked about my work at all. And everyone going, oh yeah, we were huge fans of your work. You're like, you never came
You
to
never
the person.
told me. You never told the creator.
Yeah, and you all talk to each other, but you don't talk to me. So, like, I will say today, if you guys want to have a fun little thing that you could do to brighten up somebody's day, it's really easy. Tell your favorite artist or somebody that you see on your feed that you follow that you really like, or maybe an author or whatever else if you can.
Some kind of creator that you like their work.
Be genuinely, honest and just tell them you like their work.
And if you can be specific,
that
be
would
specific.
Be super nice.
Like do that, your constructive
compliments.
I
Yeah.
say, but if you can't, just be like, hey, I super enjoy your work, kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right. She plops down on a chair that I have somewhere in my room and starts to sob uncontrollably.
It's probably a cushy armchair with a little doily on it, the little doily on the arms.
Yeah, no, they don't put those in hospital rooms, only mini fridges.
I thought you were serious, Richard. I was like, excuse me? Me who's been in hospital more often than you? Excuse?
It's true. All right,
no,
sometimes
honestly,
they do
a lot
put
of that
comfy chairs, but a lot of them, they just have those office chairs and stuff in there with the wooden handles and things.
They're more in places like where they have like visitors and whatnot, and then you have the chairs.
They're in the waiting rooms, not in the bedrooms.
They are in the bedrooms.
Okay, well, I haven't seen them.
Like,
I haven't been in as many hospitals. I really haven't.
I've been in a lot. It's fine.
So she starts crying into her soaked pig bun uncontrollably, who is completely wet with the bean juice.
You smell like coffee.
That wasn't. Was that coffee?
I don't. That was my guess.
Oh, okay. I thought it was red bean juice that just happened to be caffeinated.
We don't know. I'm assuming bean because bean juice, and that was a term.
Coffee.
It's fine.
I lean forward and wipe her tears away. Holy shit! He has asked us every single time. Should I touch them? Should I interact? Should I do a thing? This game is starting to railroad us into stuff so that it will make sure things happen. This reminds me suddenly of Yaoi Beast Boys in the space of we can turn them down, and then you just fuck your best friend and you do not get to choose.
Yeah, it was really weird.
You might even say it was a bit of a surprise.
It just was cranked up to 11 real quick, and you're like, I take him in the back and bone him, and you're like, wow, we just chose not to do that, and then this wasn't even a choice. It just came round again. So we're going to just touch her for reasons without thinking about it, asking or giving the player a choice.
I'm also like, that is, again, so I've wiped away people's tears before. That is a really difficult thing to do in regards to being stuck in a wheelchair with a broken leg, where she's curled up
she sits down in a chair,
crying into a pig bun, and you're like, I will reach it, move the bunny.
I will
Get
not
the
only,
fucking bunny.
I will move the bunny out of the way, I will lean back into the chair you're in, I will ram my leg into the wall again. Okay, I don't think they know that their character is in a wheelchair here. I think that the writers just keep forgetting that Mr. is in a wheelchair.
I mean, if we had Mr. Walking, they totally fucking forgot. And then suddenly, wheelchair, and we went, what?
Your wheelchair's it's okay. It just turned into that really cool Wild Wild West wheelchair and just grew spider legs and walked on over there and then sat down again.
Though, honestly, again, sympathy potentially also to the writers. Usually you're writing this stuff, obviously, for a paycheck. I knew people who would write articles and they were getting like $20 an article or something. They were really frustrated by it.
And you're trying to crack through it.
And you're just trying to get through it regardless of errors or misinformation or whatever else because the site needed content and you needed food.
I was saying, and you so also can't make enough to live on the hours of the day if you spend 2 or 3 hours on each article because you're making, $5 an hour. Yeah. So, and forcing yourself to write quickly makes you better at writing quickly. You develop that skill, but a lot of your stuff is really not your best at all. All right. Yeah. My hand stays on her soft cheeks. Your hand is on both of her cheeks. Okay, we just took her hand, palm across her mouth, thumb under one eye, index finger under the other eye, and we're just grabbing her face with a sort of slurping, grabby motion.
Don't clean your eyes.
I cannot believe with one hand we're petting both cheeks. Oh my god. Her just frozen. We just have our hand across her entire mouth, cupping her whole face. Her, whoa.
Oh, God.
My hand stays on both of her soft cheeks. Don't cry, Rena. Putting hand harder over mouth. Shh. Just don't cry.
Hang on. Hang on.
Are we gonna murder Rena? Oh my God. Yes.
Okay, so we need
My friend just slaps their hand over their own mouth and be like, I will voice the character through this suffocating mouth.
I can
like the
do
suffocating
it.
hand experience would be perfect. Just being like it's great. It's just all right. Well, guys, that was a lot of monologuing, and it was lovely to have you, and we laughed our butts off. And we are at time. So if you have been through this game, or if you have made it this far in the game, we have loved having you along.
Yes.
It has been fabulous. And we are going to get through the end of this thing together, and it's going to be amazing.
It's gonna be my
It's going to be, no, they all have 2-syllable names. I'm sorry, we can't do it.
It's gonna be Rena.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, all right. So,
Aha! All right, well, thank you very much, guys, though, for joining us. Sorry, it's a little awkward, but it's okay. Come on. Oh, man, all right, after
please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. We love having you along.
I love where you're trying to do this, and I'm like, I can do this. You just gotta stop interrupting me.
I'm gonna do it. Enjoy your comments greatly. Go, friend. Go.
And also, please feel free to share our videos if you're having a good time with us and would like to share in the hand over mouth procedure. So, I have been Scandal.